Denny Smith for WIBC, and we are in my basement. And I thought it would be a good time to show a lot of people about what we have when it comes to pulling water from the ground. We call them wells, and the technology has come so far. And so what we're going to do today, my friend George Gregor is here from C&J, and we're going to tell you about the state-of-the-art technology, and then we're going to tell you also about how wells have traditionally been done. George, this little system, this is constant pressure, and this has changed my life. We can duplicate city water with a unit like this.
And even better. The whole idea behind this is a variable frequency-driven pump. And what happens is this transducer, it's called, reads the pressure in the pipe, sends a low voltage signal up to this control box. We call it a computer, but truly the computer's in the bottom of the pump. And then in turn, this controller sends down a megahertz signal through the power line to the pump and tells it how fast to turn as you put a supply and demand on it. For instance, if you turn on a kitchen sink, it's making 2.2 gallons per minute average. Am I wrong?
That's about
okay.
Right.
So now you want to turn, it may be turning, 1,500 RPMs. Everything's done on the pump, not the tank. So now you want to turn on the dishwasher. I'm not sure what dishwashers use.
Maybe a half a gallon.
Okay.
But let's say we turn on the laundry. All of a sudden we want 5 gallons per minute.
Then what happens is, these are really amazing. Instantaneously, the pressure that changes in this computer just sends that megahertz signal back down to tell it to turn 4,000 RPMs to keep up with what might be set at 70 PSI to keep it there all the time.
Think about it this way. You're on a steamship, and the captain's up above, and he knows that he has to go a certain speed, but he's getting into rough water. So he picks up the microphone, and he calls down to the power supply, and he says, "I need more steam, Scotty." And so Scotty puts more coal in the boiler, it brings up more power, and they can continue their same speed. That's a constant pressure. So this variable frequency drive is really pretty sophisticated. We've used that in HVAC for a long time, so that we don't hard start our motors. Capacitance start versus this variable frequency drive. Oh my gosh, I mean, this is decades ahead of the technology that we used to have.
Well, and another thing that people need to know is, why have one?
Why have one?
Why have one?
Okay, well, let's go back to the old way. We can set this, I think we're set at 70 PSI. We've jumped up just a little bit here, and as
when
water
it shuts
cools
off,
down,
that's what this tank's all about.
That's exactly right. But it used to be that we would set our well points between 50 and 70 or 40, 60. In fact, as we're trying to duplicate city water pressure, we've moved them up to 60 to 80 in some cases. This, George, God bless you, you guys, we set one pressure right here. Mm-hmm. We've got it set at 70. And I don't have to do anything else, and I don't have to worry about the contact points. Again, that VFD drive, variable frequency drive, there's just no issues. And the old way of doing it, which might be in your crawl space, you got to crawl under there and replace your points. In my God blesses at the end of the evening when I go to bed, it's God bless the well driller, because I don't want to crawl in the crawl space anymore.
Hey, God bless your pocketbook too, because here's why. A standard half horsepower pump, to start it up, takes approximately 18 amps of power of electricity to fire it up.
That's capacitance start, which means we build up electricity in the capacitors, and then we shove it through there all at once just to get the propellers going.
And then it starts running on like about 5.5 amps.
Right.
That's a half horse. I don't know if you have the 1 horse or the horse and a half.
This is a horse and a half in this house.
You're talking, double the running amps. And what's that mean in dollars? Well, a 1 horsepower, because I've done the test with the meter, the 1 horse uses less electricity in this system than a half horse standard with a 20-gallon tank, because this doesn't take 18 amps of electricity to start up. It's a soft start, soft stop pump. And what happens in that the tank that we have here is a little bit bigger than a football. All it is to do is to absorb. When it shuts off, it'll build up, and it's not all the pressure in on the pipes, and then it has a reserve pressure. So when you turn it back on, that pump's starting up slow to wind up. It has your pressure in the tank to feed your house.
Now you think, why are Denny and George even mentioning this? Why are they bringing it up? at some point you're going to have to make a decision to replace your old well external tank. There's the 201s, there's the 401, there's the great big ones, and you're going to have to worry about, you know, do I want to put up with this maintenance going forward? If you ever get to that position, always consider the constant pressure pumps. The technology is so much better, and quite frankly, it'll be the last system you ever put in, George.
And the last thing I'd like to add to one of these, if you purchase it, is that you can do the laundry, do the dishes, take a shower.
Yeah.
You can do all these things, and you're not getting cold. You're not getting the hot water blast on you in the shower because it took your cold water, or vice versa, whatever you're using, because that pumps, it's just constantly pushing what you need.
And if Mama has a hot tub, or if she has a garden tub or a jacuzzi of some sort, you can fill that with a full 3/4 service directly on your hot and cold to the tub, and this will keep up with it. So even if you run the laundry, or if the dishes are being done at the same time, maybe somebody flushes the toilet. How many times were we in the shower when somebody flushed the toilet and all of a sudden we get scalded because it stole all the cold water pressure?
This does away with that.
This does away with that. So if you get to the point where you need to replace things, always consider this VFD drive. It really is the cat's meow. George Gregor, thanks for coming into my basement. Now
Yes,
you've
sir.
seen it all, bud.
Yes, and thank you for having me, sir.
You bet.